Welcome back. Okay, part 4. Which one should we do? Should we do grifters or profiteers? Let's do the grifters, because it plays along with the attention seeking of Munchausen. So let's transition to grifters. Grifters, all right, the basic essence of what a grifter is, a grifter by definition is a person who monetizes, okay, is able to monetize a situation for themselves by taking advantage of the social environment or people's things. They're the con artists. They're the rest of those people. These are people, and I separate them from profiteers, which we'll get into. These are people who get into the activity of pretending to be trans, okay, whether they end up with Munchausen's because they do it or not. I mean, if you think about like Hugh Laurie from the TV show House, his character walked with a cane, and he did that character for 10 years and ended up developing a limp because he played that part. Now, the difference between a grifter and Hugh Laurie is Hugh Laurie's an actor. If you catch Hugh Laurie in person off the show, he'll look at you and say, "No, I'm not Dr. House, I'm Hugh Laurie. That's a part I play for entertainment." Okay? So he's doing it for entertainment value. He's not doing it hiddenly as if it's really him. He's not pretending to be Dr. House. He's, as far as his whole life and everything goes, okay, that is what the grifters are. The obvious one is Dylan Mulvaney. He is an absolute grifter. Okay, this is a guy who has done, you know, the TV shows. He acts this way. This is a character that he's been developing forever, and it was a little bit of a morph to do the whole trans thing. And they will go to extraordinary lengths. They body modifications to get things. I mean, look at any set of actors that are out there, and you can point to them and say, "Oh my God, this person really worked up his body," or then they got themselves to look, you know, completely desiccated so that they could play this role as somebody who's completely been abused or some other thing. There was a guy who played Thor in Adventures of Babysitting. He was this big beefy dude, and then after that, he gained like a bazillion pounds, lost all the muscle, did all that same thing, and who was he? He was the big fat guy in Full Metal Jacket. Did all of that change to his body. Why? To play that role. So in the same way, grifters will go through extraordinary measures. The difference being is that they pretend that's their actual real being. Okay? So Dylan Mulvaney is pretending to be this transgender person, but it's just that. It's fake. You know it's fake. You can see all the other stuff. He was an actor, but he's playing it in real life. Okay? And it goes far beyond somebody who sits there and goes, "Okay, well, I'm just pretending to be Santa, but I do it in real life for people and the thing." And I sit on a chair, and it's like, yeah, but that's your stage. That's the stage where you're performing your act. And then when you go home, you're not sitting there and doing videos and pretending to be Santa. And if you go do things and you pretend to be Santa, but if you were talking to some other adult or somebody else and you go, "Yeah, that's just, I do that. That's my thing. I act for a living." So it goes beyond doing that, and it goes to creating this as a persona of who you are and profitizing from it, because there was an audience for this type of thing, okay, for legitimate people. Again, there is a legitimate illness, gender dysphoria. These are people who actually suffer. They have an issue. Okay, when it comes to the cross-dressing, again, it's like pot. These are medical users of pot. And now you have all of these recreational users who are out here destroying everything that goes on. I've seen, here's another one for medical. How far you can push the analogy. The medical people are very dependent on specific strains, because it help, certain strains have certain chemical makeup that helps with their condition. So they go into the pot store and they find the one that works for them, and then they stick with those, and they have to switch around between a couple because you'll get strain dependency, and it's kind of like building up a tolerance, but it's just to the strain, not to pot itself, just to the strain. But then you get all the recreational people who are all interested in all the new stuff and the new this, new that, and it destroys what the medical users need, because they need consistency of the strains. But now the strains are getting even more so manipulated and changed. Oh, this is the new high. Oh, this is the new high. And the old strains that they were dependent on get left behind. And the newest, greatest thing comes out, and you've got medical users who are scrambling to find constantly to find a new strain that works as good as what they had before but doesn't exist anymore. This is the kind of thing that goes on with the gender dysphoria. You have all of these recreational people that are, it still, I can't understand how people are mixing up even transvestitism or transvestites with the gender dysphoria, because it's like it is so opposite. But if nobody knew what a quadriplegic was and didn't know the difference between a quadriplegic and a paraplegic, then it wouldn't be that, maybe it wouldn't be that easy to understand and comprehend. It's become very common knowledge and very understandable on what a paraplegic is. It's not very well understood what gender dysphoria is. Yeah, you have a lot of people who are doing the grifting. They're doing a lot of the YouTube channels. They do a lot of the Twitch channels. There are a whole bunch of people who are trying to, I'm a gamer and I want to be the next Markiplier, and I want to do this. How do I give myself the edge? How do I get more attention brought into my channel? Oh, I'm going to do the transgender thing. And it's all within that little scope of trying to make money. But when they do it for their gender, they in order to grift that, they have to play it. It can't just be an act, because when you have, cheaters and hackers and fakers on those things, people, they get exposed, and boom, their whole money thing just falls apart on them. So they have to have it. They have to go full metal into the position and say, okay, this is who I am. But they're faking the issue so that they can get more views on Twitch and try to draw in a bigger audience. And again, anybody who challenges them on these things, they'll just quickly ban you or just do name calling. And now they've got, and especially once they start getting at least some followers on their Instagram or their Twitch or Twitter accounts, then they get their little army of people who can come after you and do all the name calling for them. And they do the whole gang up on you and ostracize you out. Again, that's that whole Democrat philosophy of how to do things. But yeah, the grifter is the person who is pulling off the persona of this, but they're doing it for money. They're doing it for the attention. So that is slightly different than the Munchausen's, where it's just for the social credit, the attention, and so forth, versus the grifter, who is now doing this for a monetary purpose. And again, you get those gray areas in between. Are you Munchausen or a grifter? Which one? Either one is bad. You have an illness or you're committing fraud. Which one is it? Are you sick? Do you need to be in a hospital? Because if you have Munchausen's, you are a danger to yourself. Yes, you are. You could be harming yourself. If you're faking cancer and taking cancer treatments, that's going to hurt you. That makes you a danger to yourself. And we put people away for their own safety for that reason. We need to start dealing with these people the way it is. If you're doing Munchausen's, That's that. If you're a grifter, well, then you're doing it for money. And again, it's no different than like stolen valor. You know, you are faking something for the purpose of getting benefits or money. So that's grifters. See you next time.